We all know that feeling in business, um, the ground is constantly shifting, right? So how do you not just, stay afloat, but actually pull ahead?
Yeah.
That's really what we're digging into today. The core strategies for building a real sustainable competitive edge.
Exactly. And we've looked at some pretty insightful business research to bring you a practical understanding of how organizations can not only get that advantage, but also, crucially, hold on to it in today's, well, dynamic market.
Okay. And from that research, it seems like 6 core strategies for competitive advantage really stood out. We're going to try and unpack each of those for you.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll look at how those fit into the bigger picture of business strategy.
Right, because a competitive edge isn't something that just exists on its own, is it?
No.
We'll be exploring how different levels of strategy, from the overarching business level choices down to the nitty gritty of marketing and communication, all need to work together to achieve those big organizational goals you're aiming for.
And it's not just about beating the competition either. I mean, ultimately, it's about creating value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Value that resonates with your customers.
Absolutely.
Our sources also highlighted a really fascinating 4-stage process for how businesses can actually do that, which we'll be getting into as well.
So yeah, our goal here is to give you a clear, sort of actionable toolkit of ideas. We want you to walk away with a better understanding of how these concepts might apply to your own situation and maybe how you can start thinking a bit more strategically, like right now.
Okay, perfect.
Eh.
Let's jump into those core competitive advantage strategies then. The first one that really grabbed my attention is the first mover advantage, sometimes called customer market advantage. Sounds pretty straightforward, just
Yeah.
get there first. But what are the real benefits, maybe the downsides?
Right. Getting there first, being the pioneer in a completely new market or with a really significant innovation, that can indeed give you a powerful head start. It's often temporary, though. Think about it. You're basically setting the initial standards, building brand recognition before anyone else is even in the game, and potentially capturing a huge slice of the market really early on.
Right. So for a while, you're the only game in town.
Right, yeah.
That sounds like a pretty prime position to build from.
It definitely can be. But it's not without its challenges. First movers often carry the burden, the cost of educating the market, figuring out the right product market fit.
Yeah. All that groundwork.
Exactly. And they can even sometimes inadvertently pave the way for fast followers who can learn from their mistakes and maybe do it cheaper or better.
Okay.
That's why, as crucial as it might seem, a first mover advantage really needs to be quickly backed up, reinforced with other strategies to make sure you get long-term dominance, not just a flash in the pan.
That makes a lot of sense. Being first might get you noticed, yeah, but you need more to keep people coming back.
Precisely.
Now, the second strategy you mentioned is product and service advantage. This feels more about the actual offering itself, just having something better.
Exactly. This is all about differentiating yourself by offering products or services with, unique features, maybe higher quality or superior performance that customers genuinely value. Historically, this has been a cornerstone for loads of successful businesses.
But better is such a moving target, isn't it? I mean, what's cutting edge today can become just the standard tomorrow.
You've hit the nail on the head. Maintaining a product and service advantage requires this constant commitment to improvement, to innovation.
Always pushing.
Always. Think of companies like, say, Dyson. They continuously refine their vacuum technology. They're not just adding superficial features. They focus on core performance and design improvements that justify, a premium price. That constant evolution is absolutely key to staying ahead.
Right. It's definitely not just about a one-time breakthrough.
Okay.
The third core strategy, business system value chain advantage. This sounds more internal, like it's about what's happening inside the organization. What's the key here?
Yeah, this strategy focuses on optimizing your internal operations, excelling in one or maybe more activities all along your value chain. So from R&D and production, right through to marketing, sales, customer service.
The whole process.
The whole thing. If you can perform any of these steps exceptionally well, and maybe more efficiently than your competitors, that can translate into a really significant advantage.
So if you have, say, a super efficient supply chain that slashes your costs, or maybe incredibly responsive customer support that builds amazing loyalty, that could be your key differentiator.
Absolutely. Many organizations focus on really fine-tuning the parts of their business where they know they can truly shine. But for this to work effectively, seamless internal coordination is just paramount.
It all has to work together.
It does. Imagine a company with a brilliant product design team, right? But their manufacturing process is just plagued by delays and quality issues.
Yeah, the advantage is lost.
Exactly. The initial advantage just evaporates in poor execution. That really highlights the need for all parts of the system to work in harmony. Sometimes it even means redesigning the organization itself.
It's like a sports team, isn't it? Individual talent is great, but how well everyone plays together is what really decides the game.
Well put. Yeah.
Okay, the fourth strategy. System assets resource advantages. This one seems to bring in both tangible things and intangible resources.
Correct. This involves strategically leveraging the unique assets your company possesses, both the physical ones like specialized equipment, maybe prime real estate locations, and the intangible ones.
Like patents, brand.
Exactly. Patents, proprietary knowledge, that all-important brand reputation, established customer relationships. These are assets that are often really difficult for competitors to replicate quickly, if at all.
So a brand like Coca-Cola, for instance, with its logo everyone knows and that long history,
Yeah.
that's a massive intangible asset advantage.
Precisely. That brand recognition and all the customer trust that goes with it, it's incredibly valuable and incredibly hard for a newcomer to build from scratch. So effectively identifying, nurturing, and then leveraging these unique resources is really the heart of the strategy.
Okay, strategy number 5 is partner advantage. This highlights the power of, well, working with others.
Yes, forming strategic alliances, collaborations, it can significantly amplify your capabilities and your reach. By partnering with organizations that complement your strengths, maybe share your values and have aligned goals, you can unlock completely new markets, share resources, even co-innovate in ways you just couldn't achieve on your own.
It's almost like a symbiotic relationship where both sides benefit and get stronger together. Like you might get access to a new distribution network through a partnership, for example.
Exactly that. A well-chosen partner can provide access to new tech, different customer segments, or maybe geographic regions you couldn't reach before. It creates a win-win that enhances your overall competitive standing.
Makes sense. And finally, the sixth strategy, scale and scope advantage.
These sound kind of related, but they have distinct meanings.
They do, yeah. Economies of scale, that's about achieving lower per unit costs simply by increasing the volume of production. Think of Amazon's massive warehouses and their distribution network.
Right.
That allows them to handle just huge quantities of goods at a very efficient cost per item.
Got it. The power of producing tons of stuff and economies of scope.
Economies of scope is more about leveraging shared resources and capabilities across different business units or product lines to reduce overall costs.
Yeah.
So for instance, a company like Samsung, they produce smartphones and televisions, right?
Yeah.
They can often use the same R&D expertise, maybe the same distribution channels for both, and that leads to cost efficiencies across the board.
Okay, so scale is about doing more of one thing efficiently, and scope is about applying your resources across a wider range of activities.
You've got it.
Now, the research also points out something important. Successful companies rarely rely on just one of these strategies alone. That's a really critical insight. Often what you see is they'll start by building a foundation with maybe one or two core advantages, and then they strategically layer in others as they grow, as the market changes.
Adapting.
Constantly. The example given was a company that initially focused just on cost reduction. Then they added improvements in inventory management, then faster delivery, then quality enhancements, then warranties, building this more comprehensive competitive position over time.
It's like building a really well-rounded portfolio of strengths, not just relying on one trick.
Exactly.
And it's interesting that the research specifically calls out how community enterprises can really benefit from the asset-based competitive advantage and partner advantage.
Yes, that's a great point. For community-focused organizations, deeply understanding and leveraging their unique local assets, whether that's community knowledge, local resources, strong social capital, and combining that with forming strategic partnerships within their communities or with other aligned organizations, that can be a particularly powerful path to sustainable success for them.
Okay, so we've got a pretty solid handle on these 6 core strategies. Now let's shift focus a bit to business-level strategies. How do these broader approaches help a company actually gain that competitive edge in the marketplace?
Right. So a business level strategy is essentially the overarching approach a company takes to compete within a specific industry or market. It's kind of the main game plan for how you'll establish and then maintain a competitive advantage.
And the research outlines a few key types of these strategies, starting with cost leadership.
Yeah.
We touched on cost reduction before, but this sounds like a more deliberate company-wide strategy.
Precisely. Cost leadership is a strategy where a company aims to become the lowest cost producer in a broad market, usually offering relatively standardized products. Think discount retailers like Walmart or Aldi, maybe. Their entire business model is geared towards efficiency, minimizing costs everywhere to offer the absolute lowest prices.
So the main driver is just being the price leader.
Exactly. And to achieve that, companies typically focus on streamlining their operations, minimizing overhead, negotiating really aggressively with suppliers, optimizing their distribution channels,
Doing everything possible to cut costs.
everything. The somewhat unusual example mentioned about placing products directly in customer refrigerators. It just illustrates the extreme lengths a company might go to in order to cut delivery or spoilage costs, for instance.
That is a very specific example.
Oh.
Okay, so on the other end of that spectrum, we have the differentiation strategy.
Yes, this strategy centers on creating a product or service that is perceived as unique, as superior by customers across a broad market. And that value added, that uniqueness, allows you to command a premium price.
And this feeling of uniqueness, it can come from lots of different places, right? The research mentions things like product features, service excellence, maybe employee expertise, even the overall brand image.
Absolutely. Consider a company like, say, BMW. They differentiate through a combination of engineering, performance, and that brand prestige.
Yeah.
They invest heavily in R&D, they ensure high manufacturing standards, they cultivate a brand image that resonates with customers looking for that premium driving experience. Or investing in employee training to provide just exceptional customer service. That's another key aspect of differentiation.
Okay. Then there's the focus strategy. This sounds like it's about really honing in on a specific market segment.
Correct. A focus strategy involves concentrating on the needs of a particular buyer group, maybe a specific product line, or a defined geographic market. This can be really effective for smaller companies or maybe those targeting niche markets that are, underserved by the larger players.
So instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you become the specialist for one specific group.
Exactly. You tailor your offerings, your whole business really, to meet the very specific needs of that target segment. But it's important to recognize that focusing too narrowly can sometimes limit your growth potential.
Right, you might hit a ceiling.
You might. And serving highly specialized needs can sometimes come with higher operating costs, too. The research highlights that success here often hinges on continuous, high-quality innovation and just maintaining agility, being able to adapt quickly to the changing needs of that niche.
Makes sense. And the final business-level strategy mentioned is the best cost provider strategy. This sounds like trying to get the best of both worlds, maybe.
It kind of is, yeah. The goal here is to offer customers superior value. So a combination of good quality, appealing features, but at a relatively low price. These companies aim to give customers more bang for their buck compared to both the low-cost leaders and the high-end differentiators.
So you're not necessarily the absolute cheapest, nor are you the most premium, but you offer the best overall value proposition. The examples, like low-cost airlines focusing on core service, or maybe homemade ice cream with unique flavors at a reasonable price. They make that clear.
Precisely. They're targeting those customers who are value conscious, definitely, but are also willing to pay a little bit more for certain desirable features or quality.
Okay, we've covered the core ways to get an edge and the broader business strategies. Now let's delve into value creation. This sounds like the engine that actually drives a successful business.
It really is. Value creation is fundamentally about enhancing your local products, your services, in a way that effectively meets the changing needs of the market and really resonates with your target customers. The research breaks this crucial process down into 4 distinct stages.
All right, let's start with stage 1, value definition. What exactly does a business need to figure out here?
Okay, so value definition is the foundational step. It's about understanding what constitutes value, both from your business's perspective and, crucially, from the perspective of your target audiences.
Okay.
This involves a really deep assessment of your current business network, the products or services you offer, and the various markets you could potentially serve. You need to clearly identify your existing and potential customer segments. Are they domestic, international, direct customers, online users?
So it's taking a really comprehensive look at what you have now and the whole market landscape out there.
Exactly. And it also requires understanding the dynamic relationship between your business network, the broader markets, and your diverse customer profiles. A key part of this stage is proactively identifying new business and market opportunities.
Spotting gaps or trends.
Yes. For example, if there's a growing trend, like, say, the miniaturization of electronics, you might start thinking about developing complementary goods or services for those smaller devices. How can you add value there?
That makes sense. Spot the trend, figure out how you fit in, and add value within that new context. Okay, stage 2 is business design. What happens once you've defined the potential value?
Right. So once you have a clear understanding of the value you want to create and who you're creating it for, business design is about structuring your organization and your offerings to effectively meet those market demands and really satisfy your target audience. This includes crucial things like branding, how you present yourself to the world, and the actual design of your products and services. Skills in innovation and differentiation are absolutely essential at this stage.
So this is where you take that need you identified and figure out the best way to fulfill it, making sure your solution stands out from everything else available.
Exactly.
The research also highlights 4 key types of customer benefits to think about during this design phase: functional, fashion, financial, and social acceptance. Can you unpack those quickly?
Sure. When you're designing, you need to think about these different dimensions of value. Is your product easy and effective to use? That's the functional benefit.
Okay.
Does it align with current trends? Enhance the user's image? That's the fashion benefit. Does it offer good value for the money? Financial benefit.
Right.
And does owning or using it align with their social values, their norms? That's social acceptance. Effective business design really thoughtfully integrates these different considerations.
Okay, stage 3, value conversion. This sounds like turning those designs into actual tangible realities.
Precisely. Value conversion is the process of actually transforming your carefully crafted designs into tangible products or maybe deliverable services. This stage really emphasizes implementing standardized procedures. That's key for consistency.
Yeah.
Also, establishing clear performance indicators to track progress and having rigorous quality control measures to make sure you meet the expected standards.
Consistency seems super critical here. The example of the food industry needing to maintain a consistent taste everywhere really drives that home.
Absolutely. Standardization ensures your product or service can be reliably reproduced with a uniform level of quality time after time. This stage is also about continuously looking for ways to improve your processes, make them more efficient, faster, ultimately more cost-effective.
Always improving. And finally, we get to value delivery. This is all about getting that created value into the customer's hands.
Exactly. Value delivery covers all the activities needed to transfer the value you've created to the market or directly to your customers. This includes essential functions like logistics, getting the product where it needs to be.
Distribution.
Right. Clear, effective communication about your offering, providing excellent customer service, and strategically choosing accessible distribution channels, making it easy for people to buy.
So it's not enough just to have a great product. You have to make sure your customers can actually get it easily and have a positive experience the whole way through.
Exactly.
The research also stresses being responsive to customer demands and actively working to build that long-term customer loyalty.
Precisely. Efficient logistics, transparent communication, exceptional service, convenient access, they're all vital for meeting and, hopefully, exceeding customer expectations and fostering those crucial long-term relationships.
Okay, great. Now let's pivot to marketing strategy fundamentals. It feels like this is where all these pieces we've discussed, the advantages, the business strategy, the value creation kind of come together to connect with the customer and actually drive success in the market.
That's a good way to put it. Marketing strategy is essentially the comprehensive plan for how you'll use your marketing mix, your product, price, place, distribution, and promotion to achieve your specific marketing objectives.
Right.
And this plan has to take into account your own company's strengths and weaknesses, what your competitors are doing, and the broader market environment. It's really their strategic roadmap for reaching and engaging your target customers.
And the research outlines several key elements that make up a solid marketing strategy, starting right at the top with the mission. How does the overall company mission inform the marketing strategy?
Well, your overarching business mission acts like the guiding star for all your strategic decisions, including your marketing efforts. A clearly defined mission provides direction, it provides purpose, and it gives you a framework for making sure that your marketing activities are actually aligned with the fundamental goals and values of your organization. Keeps everything pointing the same way.
Then we have marketing objectives. These need to be Much more specific and measurable than the general mission, right?
Absolutely. Effective marketing objectives need to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Ah, the SMART goals.
Exactly. They should be focused on influencing specific behaviors within your target market. The research suggests a process for developing these: reviewing past sales, reassessing your target market based on current trends, analyzing problems and opportunities, and setting clear criteria for what success looks like.
Okay. Next up is target markets. This brings us back again to the importance of knowing exactly who you're trying to reach.
Yes, absolutely fundamental. Clearly identifying and understanding your primary and maybe secondary target customer segments is just, well, you can't do effective marketing without it.
Right.
Once you have a deep understanding of who you're trying to reach, their needs, preferences, behaviors, then you can tailor your strategies and tactics to resonate most effectively with them.
And then there's positioning. This is all about how your product or service kind of occupies space in the customer's mind compared to competitors.
Exactly. Positioning is the art, and maybe the science, of creating a distinct and favorable perception of your offerings in the minds of your target consumers relative to your competition. This involves clearly articulating your unique selling proposition, your USP.
The thing that makes you different.
That specific benefit or set of benefits that really sets you apart. And effective positioning should be based on a real competitive advantage. It needs to be proactively communicated, and it has to resonate with your target audience.
Following positioning, we have the marketing program or plan. This sounds like where the rubber meets the road, translating the strategy into actual actions.
Yes, exactly. Your marketing program is the detailed blueprint for how you'll actually implement your strategy. It outlines the specific tactics you'll use across your marketing mix, product, pricing, distribution, promotion, to achieve those objectives we talked about.
Got it.
And the research rightly emphasizes that even the most brilliant strategy can fail if it's not executed effectively. It highlights different scenarios based on how well strategy and implementation align, leading to outcomes from success all the way down to, well, failure.
Right, execution matters.
Yeah.
Now, within that broader plan, we have the marketing promotion strategy. This is specifically about how you get the message out.
Correct. Your promotion strategy needs to be tightly aligned with your overall marketing plan and should include specific tactics designed to achieve clearly defined promotional objectives. These could be things like initiatives aimed at creating mutually beneficial relationships with partners, or maybe developing campaigns to boost sales during traditionally slower periods.
And underpinning all of this marketing effort is marketing research. You can't really develop effective strategies without a solid understanding of your customers and the market, can you?
Absolutely not. Marketing research is the systematic process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting data about your target markets, your competitors, the overall marketing environment. This information is just crucial for making informed decisions and ensuring your products and services truly meet customer needs and, hopefully, maximize satisfaction.
The research also touches on public relations, or PR strategy. How does PR fit into the overall marketing goals?
Public relations focuses on managing your brand's reputation and communicating with your various stakeholders. In today's world, that's particularly important through online channels.
Yeah, digital PR.
Exactly. A well-defined PR strategy involves tailoring your message and the channels you use to reach specific consumer segments. So, for example, you might focus on engaging with fashion bloggers and influencers to reach teenagers, or maybe participating in specific online forums related to bedding to connect with potential customers interested in home goods. Very targeted.
There's also a power strategy mentioned, which seems particularly relevant for e-commerce and online marketplaces.
Yes, power strategies, especially in e-commerce, often involve strategically leveraging your bargaining power, maybe within the supply chain or with resellers.
How so?
Well, it might include establishing things like authorized distributor agreements, or maybe using tiered pricing structures to incentivize larger orders from resellers, or even leveraging group buying power through online communities or group chats.
Ah, okay. Interesting. And then we have marketing strategy integration, which emphasizes the crucial role of the marketing mix, those classic 4Ps, but also mentions an expanded 8Ps framework and this concept of integrated marketing communication, or IMC. That sounds important.
It really is. Modern marketing stresses the importance of coordinating all the elements of your marketing mix. So the original 4PS: product, price, place, promotion, plus the expanded elements some people use: people, process, Physical evidence and performance.
Okay, the APs.
And doing all that under the umbrella of Integrated Marketing Communication, IMC. IMC ensures that all your communication channels, advertising, PR, social media, direct mail, everything, deliver a consistent and unified message. It maximizes impact and creates a seamless brand experience for the customer. No conflicting messages.
Got it. Consistency across the board.
Yeah.
And finally, the research touches on levels of marketing promotion, customer level, channel distribution level, and even internal promotion within the organization.
Exactly. All aimed ultimately at increasing sales, enhancing the brand image, achieving other marketing objectives, all through that consistent messaging delivered via IMC.
So the key takeaway here seems to be that modern marketing is really about long-term profitability through genuine customer satisfaction. And it has to constantly adapt because consumer behavior keeps changing. Relying just on old-school market segmentation isn't enough anymore.
That sums it up nicely. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. We've really dug deep into a lot of interconnected concepts today. So I guess to bring it all together, achieving true competitiveness.
Yeah.
It isn't about finding that one magic bullet, is it?
Not at all. It really demands a comprehensive and adaptable approach. You need to thoughtfully consider and strategically leverage a whole range of tools and frameworks, from understanding those 6 core competitive advantages we started with,
Right.
to making informed decisions about your overarching business-level strategy, diligently managing that whole process of value creation, and then implementing a cohesive, well-integrated marketing strategy.
And it's not just about understanding each of these things separately. It's really about seeing how they all interact and influence each other to create a strong, sustainable, competitive position.
Exactly. You really need to develop a holistic perspective, see how all these different elements work together to build a resilient and thriving organization.
Okay, so here's maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. In today's really rapidly changing business landscape, how can organizations most effectively weave together all these diverse strategies? The fundamental competitive advantages, the big picture business choices, that intricate process of value creation, and the integrated power of modern marketing. How can they weave all that together to not just survive the competition, but to truly flourish and generate lasting value for the people they serve? It's definitely something to think about in the context of your own work, your own endeavors.